Hey, what is poppin', everyone? So today we'll be talking about something special. We'll be talking about AI. AI is artificial intelligence. And the question we'll be answering is, will AI take over the world eventually? I think the answer to that question is pretty difficult. I don't think anyone really knows, but I'll give it my best shot to describe what I understand about AI. And just as a disclaimer, this episode is part of the hard series, so the level is high. And so the pace and terms I'll be using in this episode will be more natural at the same time, but it will be more technical focused. And yeah, so let's get started. So AI is artificial intelligence, and will artificial intelligence eventually take over the world? Is the question that we'll be exploring in today's episode. Just as a background, before I dive into this question, artificial intelligence is a pretty new concept, but the artificial intelligence that we know of today is pretty different than what it was initially founded as. Artificial intelligence initially came from something called the Turing machine, and that was a very simple machine that tried to mimic human behavior, but extremely simply. I recommend y'all to check it out later. But so eventually the Turing machine evolved into a computer, and then a computer became what we know today. And so the next question is, can we invent a machine that can mirror the neural network, can mirror the brain process of humans? Right? That's the current question that we're kind of universities are looking through today. And recently there hasn't been a lot of progress in achieving that goal, because back in 30 years ago there was a conference where a lot of professors from some of the best universities met, and they sat at a 10-day seminar and they just discussed AI and its possibilities. They defined what it meant to be intelligent, and they guessed what would happen to AI in the next 30 years. In summary, we are way behind what our predecessors thought we would be at. The AI that we know of these days cannot do a lot of things on its own. We haven't been able to completely mirror the neural network that humans have. But recently, there's been a lot of advances in AI. So for those of y'all that know Google, Google has a couple AI machines that they have. So AlphaGo is one of them, and then there was one for the protein. So basically these two. So the AlphaGo is a machine that is able to beat humans at Go. And Go is an extremely complex game, right? So the machine has to learn Go on the spot, and then it learns Go, and then it thinks of ways to beat the human. And Go is way more complex than something like checkers. And so the neural networks that are built are extremely complex, but in essence, the machine does kind of think for itself when playing Go. And then the alpha protein, the protein one is able to take shapes, I think, and then figure out what existing protein, or what shapes would constitute an existing protein. And that is very helpful because I think it's able to guess the specific proteins that we need to build to cure certain diseases and such. I'm not too sure about that. But anyways, regardless, the point is AI has come very far, and Google and its subsidiaries are doing a great job at making AI work. But in the near future, I don't see AI taking over the world unless it's really given. It's hard to imagine that being possible. Although I do think if AI were to become smart enough to have the intention to take over the world, humans would need to be really careful and regulate AIs extremely carefully, or else humanity would just be wiped out. But as of now, I don't see that being a likely, a possible near future. I see AI doing a lot of great things, assisting in medicine, solving complex problems that humans can't. And to me, it's a really bright future ahead for AI. So thank you all for listening to today's episode, and I will see y'all next time.